Hello, my name is Christoph Wichmann, and in this video I would like to explain how you can use the Elasticsearch integration for the Axway API management solution and with custom attributes. And so let me go to that topic in the documentation, which is here called custom properties. Because it covers not only custom attributes, it also explains really quick that API manager custom properties which are declared are already supported. But in this video, I'm going to explain how you can index runtime attributes. These attributes you have access to and you can manipulate in a policy and to have them stored in Elasticsearch and to be able to analyze them in Kibana or any other external application. So the first thing you have to do is to export these custom attributes using Policy Studio into the transaction event logs. And in this video, I'm showcasing this using the user agent to be able to see in my dashboards which user agents have called my API. And for that, I have used Policy Studio, and in Policy Studio, I created a policy or I changed an existing policy. All my APIs are running through to extract the user agent header, put it into an attribute user agent, and also adding some error handling if the user agent is not present. So then, of course, the next thing I do is to say, I would like to have this exported. I'm going into the transaction event log. I'm already exporting the transaction ID. The X forwarded for is for the geolocation thing the Elasticsearch solution supports. And now I'm going to add, I also would like to have the user agent exported. And now let me deploy that to my environment, edit user agent to event logs. So let's commit that. And now we are waiting a moment until this is deployed. So now my API gateway has finally deployed. It's now sending the user agent into the open traffic event logs, or not open traffic event logs, the transaction event logs. And with that, it's already processed into Elasticsearch. So I can go now into, for instance, Kibana and go into the Discover view. And in the index or in the index pattern API gateway traffic summary, in the last 15 minutes, I can already see that the user agent appears. It's part of the custom message attributes. The field itself is not yet indexed. So that means this is indicated here by that question mark. It is an unknown field to Elasticsearch. So that means you cannot perform aggregations, you cannot search for that field. You can only retrieve that field as part of the document which has been indexed when you make a query to Elasticsearch. So that means, for instance, this is what I'm trying to do here. It's in my history, but it is not possible. It doesn't work because the field, you cannot query for that. And in order to do that, we have to complete the second configuration step. We have to configure the event log custom attributes. And this is here in the environment sample file. It is documented what you have to do. And I stick to the simple use case, just saying my custom property, and then we add the user agent to that to have it properly indexed. As I'm using a Kubernetes environment together with Helm, I'm changing my local values file and say for API Builder for Elastic, I'm going to say my event log custom attributes should be the user agent. Let me deploy that, performing a Helm upgrade. So now the upgrade has been performed, and Elasticsearch will now be configured with that additional property to be indexed. And for that, you can check this in the stack management and index management and index templates. And here you can search for traffic summary. And this traffic summary should now contain, based on that configuration, your user agent field. And now Elasticsearch knows this field should be indexed as a keyword, and keyword is used for aggregations. So And that means I can go back now to the Discover view, say in the last 15 minutes. I would like to see the user agent. It's now a known field. And I can see now it's, for instance, cube probe, because I'm searching for that right now. But I can also fire a request maybe from Postman, or I can send the same request from my browser a few times. So, and now I can say user agent should be something, and then I get the available list. And of course, I can also now go and say I would like to create a visualization for that. I'm just using Lens here to demonstrate that. It should use the API Gateway Traffic Summary. I say, show me the user agent. And I prefer to use a donut for that. And it's not so easy to see that we also have some others. So let me change this back to. So now you see that there are also a few Postman calls, a few my Mozilla Firefox browser call, and so on. So that now you can start create visualization based on the real-time data. But this is, let's say, not what you need for the long-term statistics. And the second thing happens in the background is that the transformation job converts the raw data into hourly data. And this happens by such a transformation job, which is also performed, or which is also maintained and configured by API Builder for Elastic based on that configuration string. But at the moment, this one has no user agent, because that takes an hour. Every hour, the API Builder for Elastic will create that will create that transformation job. Let me kick that off manually by executing a REST API call, this one here in that section. And let me first go into my API Builder pod to run it. Get pods. Here we go. We would like to get a terminal. And then we want to execute this REST API call. So this sets up the transformation job for the traffic summary index. And now when I refresh the screen, then I have a new transformation job created, which sets up, or which continues the process as before, but it now also includes the user agent to appear in, let's say, in the transformed data to be available for analysis. So, but this now takes a few hours, at least 3 hours, until that custom message attribute appears in the hourly traffic summary index. And I will now pause that video and I will come back when 3 hours has been passed. So welcome back to the last part of this video. And this last part is about the historical data. So that means our transformation job we have created or updated with that new custom attribute has now processed that data. It has a delay about 3 hours, which is for a good reason. And depends on when you start the transformation job, when the first time that data appears. So that means it might be even that it takes then up to 4 hours to get that data processed. In my case, it took 4 hours because we started that new transformation job 10 minutes after 9 a.m. and now the data is present. So I can see that now when I go back into the Discover view, and instead of now selecting the API Gateway Traffic Summary, I go into the API Gateway Hourly Traffic Summary, which is the result of that transformation job. And of course, by default, you will not see anything within the selected time frame of the last 15 minutes because that index will never contain any data within the last 3 hours or even the last 4 hours. So let me change that to say, show me the data from the last 4 hours. And even with that, I do not see the data, and now go with 5 hours. So we see there are some entries at 9 in the morning, which now has been pre-aggregated. And due to that pre-aggregation, we have not only one document, we have, let's say, aggregated data, like many times there are counts, there are sums, in all possible combinations with the different data. And that's why we have a count of almost 2,500 documents indexed at that time. So, and I don't want to go more into details, but the important thing is, of course, that now that um, these documents are containing the new user agent, and of course I can now use them to visualize them. Let me go into the visualize library, and here we are creating again a lands visualization, and here we have the API Gateway hourly traffic summary. Again, make sure that you are within a valid time frame, and now you can select the user agent and drag and drop it into your lands visualization, and it looks correct, but it isn't, because by default, it's going to count all the documents which are in the Elasticsearch database within the selected time frame in that index or in that index view. But this is not correct for that pre-aggregated transformed index, because it has been counted already in the background and then stored as a single document in Elasticsearch. And that's why we have to change that aggregation here and say we would like to use the function sum. And we are just using the aggregated count of correlation IDs, means transactions or API requests, and then the data is correct. So now we see that the user agent API gateway stress has called my API that often, and my Postman runtime has called my API only 15 times. So that's important to know when you are making visualizations on the aggregated data. You can do the same thing you saw in the video with any other policy custom attribute by exporting them into your open traffic, or not, sorry, your event logs, and take care that your attributes you are exporting have high cardinality. So that means it makes no sense to export an attribute that is different every single time, every single API request, because then you cannot make any useful aggregations on that information, and you're just wasting Elasticsearch performance with that. And with that, I conclude that video. I really hope it was helpful, and thanks for watching.